Okay, check. 1, 2. Howdy, hey, hello. Welcome to Munch and Mingle. I am very excited for the guest that I have today. Was this just put together last second? Yes, but I can't believe I almost missed this opportunity. So today on Munch and Mingle, we are going to be talking with my Aunt Natalie. Aunt Nat?
Hey, how are you guys? It's great to be here to make some bread and some goodies.
Yes. So this is my great aunt, Nat. And she's not my great aunt. She's a great aunt. And before we get into really what we're doing here, I just wanted to introduce you to her. So from my point of view, growing up, Aunt Nat was always the aunt's house you wanted to go to because she was always making something good and it was always homemade. So that's how I grew up, knowing that I loved food because Aunt Natalie helped us learn how to love food in such a great way and to have a great relationship with it. She's also a big role model for me in starting my cosmetology journey. She is a licensed cosmetologist and she has lived out my dream of having a salon in her home. That's my goal one day.
Good times. It's the best job ever.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, Aunt Natalie. First, tell us what your life was like growing up. Like, where did you grow up from? What was life like for Natalie?
I had the same thing, that I had fabulous role models. My aunts were all fabulous cooks. My mother was a wonderful cook, and they knew how to make delicious food. So I grew up learning how to cook and knowing how to do what they did because it made people happy. Whenever we had gatherings, it was about the food and the conversations. And it was just fun being in the kitchen, visiting with our aunts, and we loved it. And grew up in a small town, and we grew our food from a garden. So we did lots of bottling and canning and made things from scratch. And that's how we grew up. We made everything mostly by ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know, we didn't go to the grocery store every week. We got basics, but we grew it and we raised it on our own.
Yeah. So Natalie grew up in a little old town in Utah called Richfield. Now I don't know. I've only known about Richfield from what so Natalie is my dad's sister. From what Dad has told me about when we've gone back a couple times. When you were growing up, so in the family there goes Uncle Wade,
yep.
Then my dad,
yep.
Then Aunt Jen, and then you,
yep.
And then Aunt Jess. So I was going to say, like, you growing up, you were a tomboy.
Oh, for sure.
But you totally grabbed onto the homemaking and everything.
I wanted nothing to do with dolls or dresses or girl stuff. Nothing. I wanted to be outside playing sports and was definitely a tomboy, but I loved food. That's mom's cooking was delicious, you know, and both of my parents worked. So, you know, there was times that they needed us to help out. So we helped out making dinners and they were busy and we helped out as a family.
Was there ever a time when growing up, like if grandma couldn't make dinner or whatnot, were you ever like in charge of that? Or was that just everyone had to make their own thing?
No, we would help out and make dinner for the whole family.
Okay.
So absolutely. And usually Sunday dinners, all the girls helped mom get Sunday dinner together and we worked together as a family.
Wow. Okay. So then you graduated.
Yep.
And then you went to college.
Southern Utah University. Yes. Go T-Birds in Utah.
Yes, of course. Which was, compared to Richfield, anywhere out of there was big town.
Yeah,
city.
For sure. Absolutely.
So for a lot of people who've gone that journey or in that journey right now, how did your food journey change when you were in college? Did you really start then cooking more, or was it just more what you had already learned?
So again, that's food for me was about gathering. And so since I had roommates and whatnot, I enjoyed cooking stuff for my roommates. And the more that they complimented on the food, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to find another recipe to make. Yeah. And, you know, you loved the compliments. You loved, you know, getting the praise from people that loved your food. And it was like, oh, totally. Let's find something new, something different. And I also had one of my best friends Jennifer Young, her mom, Sandra Young, was also a great influence. She was a phenomenal cook, and she actually put together her own little cookbook of these wonderful recipes. And so she was a great influence. I just had a lot of people that loved to cook and were great cooks, and I just picked up on them and followed their trail that they showed us. And so, yeah, so in college it was fun, and you wanted to impress the boys, because if the boys like your food, then they're going to like you, right?
I do remember you were saying that, like if you would be the one who you would make the food and they would come.
Absolutely.
Especially like general conference weekend. That was your big thing. That was the time to shine.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then college and now family life now. So just give us a little synopsis of your life now.
So I got married after going to hair school and all that good stuff. And when you start having babies, you go, what am I going to make for my kids? They need to have good food. And so I would experiment and try doing the purees and trying to make your own baby food. And I was like, I don't know if I have time for that. But then as they got a little bit older, maybe 4, 5, 6 years old, I wanted healthier food for them. So it was, okay, if we're going to have mac and cheese, I'm going to get squash and I'm going to grate up the squash and put squash in there, or, find different ways to hide or mask, veggies into meals and whatnot.
We do have to talk about your boys growing up. So, and it's so funny because Wyatt's in the other room, so he'll hear this. So I remember growing up, was Wyatt particularly did not like fruit.
Yes. Wyatt, the oldest, hated fruit. It was a texture thing, could not stand fruit. And he was a savory boy. Garrett, on the other hand, he was my sugar sweets boy. He loved fruit, loved anything sweet. And he is not the savory type. So 2 completely different children, and trying to figure out how to feed.
And then figuring out that.
Yes.
Are they still that way?
Totally.
Okay.
Completely different. Wyatt, Garrett, he is starting to like steak and whatnot, but Wyatt was meat and potatoes. He wants the hearty, meat and good stuff, and Garrett's getting better.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so today's munchie and kind of what brought us here is homemade bread. And what happened all of a sudden because of that is homemade cinnamon rolls. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through the recipe that Aunt Nat brought and just some things that she went over it with me. Like that was why she was coming over today, is I've been begging her, like, please teach me how to make bread. And particularly since I have a very healthy husband, teach me how to make healthy bread, AKA wheat bread. So that's what we did. So we're just going to kind of go through that and all that brought. Okay, so we're going to go over the recipe first. So
awesome. So the recipe that we're using today comes from the Amazing Wheat book. And I absolutely love this one. The author, her name is Liarda Moulton, and she has over 25 years of experience with wheat and using natural foods and just taking care of your family. So I have really, really loved this recipe, and it's easy. That's why it is so great.
Okay. And you've used a couple of other recipes. Like that's how you found this book. Okay. First off, before we even get into the recipe, Aunt Nat, we were talking about, like, if you could make a list of either top 3 or top 5 things just when making bread, what would they be? Are things you live by?
So you definitely need to use fresh ingredients. I have found that using flour that has gone rancid is horrible, does not lift, does not get any, it tastes terrible, and you're not going to get your bread to rise. Same with yeast. You need to have a good yeast that you want to be able to have bubbles in there and make it nice and airy. And if you don't have that, you're out of luck. Some of the helps that work to make your bread lighter, fluffier, and to have your bread last longer, you can use vinegar. Vinegar, if you use 1 teaspoon of vinegar for about every 2.5 to 3 cups of flour, it adds some amazing lift to your flour. Your dough enhancers, gluten flour work amazingly to keep your bread lasting longer and increase the elasticity in it. So those are my favorite things to add to almost any bread recipe.
And with the flour, like, because you grind.
I grind it fresh from wheat. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So that's like number one. If we if someone doesn't have a wheat grinder, what's your next, if you have to go buy flour from the store?
That's go look for a good wheat flour. And I've never used this specific recipe for with white flour, but my favorite white flour recipe is Betty Crocker's. Just a simple, basic white bread, and go to that recipe, and you can use the same thing. You can add your dough enhancer to that, or you can add the vinegar to increase it. But Betty Crocker's got it down for a basic white bread.
Yeah.
Usually these enhancers are great for wheat bread because wheat bread is always known for being dry and crumbly. And these things enhance it and help it last longer.
Okay. And as far as like yeast, just any yeast from the store? Long as it's...
Usually I like the quick rise. Okay. That's those are my favorite. So pick your favorite brand. You can buy the Fleischmann's, or the Costco has the bigger, I think it's Star. I don't remember which ones, but any yeast will work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay. So let's go over this recipe.
Okay, so this basic wheat bread recipe is 5 cups of flour, the wheat flour, and 5 cups of hot water, 1/3 cup of honey, 1/2 to 1 cup of gluten flour, 3 tablespoons of yeast, 2/3 cup oil or vegetable oil. You can use, olive oil or vegetable oil, and 1 tablespoon of salt. And I like to take my yeast and put that in with about 1 cup of water with the honey to just make sure the yeast is going to bubble up and it's going to be worth using. That way you're not wasting a whole, couple loaves of bread and find your yeast didn't work. So that's my starter.
And you taught me spray the measuring cup before you put the honey in.
Yes, if you spray it with a vegetable spray, the honey comes right out of your cup for sure.
And on that recipe, you said gluten flour, but we just use dough enhancer.
We can use the dough enhancer as well.
Okay.
So perfect. And then you mix those items together. And the key is after you add your 5 cups of flour with the water and all the other ingredients, you're going to slowly add possibly another 2 to 3 cups of flour after that. So the total is actually about 7 to 8 cups. It depends on your humidity level. It's one of those things that you just slowly start adding those last cups of flour, and you watch the dough and make sure that it doesn't get too stiff. You want to keep it just a teeny bit sticky, but pretty much you want it all incorporated and a nice firm dough. Yeah. And be careful when you're measuring your flour that you don't pack it in.
Yes.
So if you're a packer and the flour gets too much in a cup, you'll use less of those 2 to 3 cups in the end. If it's too light, you'll use a little extra more. So it's you got to kind of play it by ear and kind of just watch your dough. Yeah. But when you touch it, it should not stick to your finger.
That was the big thing because we almost used up to 9.
We were almost about 8.5 cups.
Yeah. And the one thing also first we need to talk about your mixer.
Oh, yes.
Because we've got to talk about this. I thought it was only our family who really knew, but I'm starting to realize, no, they're out there. KitchenAid versus a Bosch.
I will always go to a Bosch mixer because
especially for bread.
For anything, it is industrial strength. So, and it's commercial strength. I have had my Bosch mixer since I graduated high school, which was 30 some years ago.
And still going strong.
And it is still going strong. Gosh. Yes, I've broken maybe a couple beaters. The wire whisks, you don't want to use the tough stuff with those. But it works phenomenally well. And I feel like the KitchenAid, you only can make small batches, where the Bosch, you can make up to 6 loaves of bread in the Bosch.
And there's some things that are great for the KitchenAid.
Yes, absolutely.
But just for this, it's through the family. How long has Grandma had hers?
That's as long as I have known my mother, she's had a Bosch.
And Grandma's the one who gave me a Bosch for my wedding, and that's what we're using. So
we love the Bosch mixers.
Yeah. It's good. Now going back,
it has a dough hook on it. That's the nice thing is we use the Bosch mixer with the dough hook to do all of our kneading for the bread. So that's going to save your arms, and it's really going to give it a lot of great elasticity in there. So
it'll save your arms, but somehow you'll still get an arm workout through this later on.
Yes, you will.
And this was the thing that I learned when we were adding the flour, and you're like, okay, is it not sticking to the bowl and whatnot? You did stop a couple of times just to get your spatula in there to kind of move it away. And then you would start mixing it again and it would stick. So that's how we knew, okay, it's not. That was my thought. I was like, oh, just don't touch it. But if you do that, there's always a part that will stick. But after a while, it literally was just like a mound.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you keep incorporating all of the dough into the middle of where the dough hook can stick to it all, it works much better.
Yeah. Okay. So then we got it to that point, and then we take it out.
You take the dough hook out, and you take all the dough off the dough hook, and then you dump out all of the dough onto a lightly floured surface.
We don't need
and
more
then
flour
we
in
just put a little bit of flour on McKenna's hands, and she just gave it a few gentle kneading motions, folding it in half and pushing it away.
This is where the arm workout came in.
That's fold it in half, push it away from you, and then fold it in half, and use your heel.
Wrapping a burrito. Like you pinched it with your fingers, you wrapped, and then you tucked the sides in.
Yep. So after you've kneaded it a little bit, then you break it into three sections.
I'm skipping this section. My bad.
you cut it into 3 sections, and that's when you form your loaf.
Yes.
And when you're forming your loaf, I like to kind of keep rolling it nice and tight to get all the air bubbles out, and then kind of tuck the sides in and give it another tight roll, and then you put it in your greased up loaf pan. And then push it down so it fills all the corners.
Yes.
And once you have those 2 done, so we could have made 3 loaves, but we made 2 loaves, and then we made cinnamon rolls for the 3rd one.
Oh, so good. Yeah. So, and what you taught me with the oven, we turned it on, but it was like not even 200. It was just to warm it.
Yep.
And then we turned it off.
If you don't have a warm place to let your bread rise, it's a little faster in the oven. If you can just heat it up for maybe about 5 minutes, get it warm in there, and then you can have your bread, turn it off.
Yeah.
Make sure it's turned off where you're not cooking yet, and then put it on the lowest rack in your oven, and just put your loaves in there because they'll be ready to cook after they've risen, and you're going to let them rise for about anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. You want them so they're just above the tin, loaf tin. And then you turn the oven on to 350, and you're going to cook them for 30 minutes till they're nice and golden brown. And everybody's oven is different. So it could be 30, 35 minutes, but just watch it. It should sound, when you thump it, it should sound hollow on the top.
Wow. And one thing you were also teaching me is once you put them in there to rise, you're not moving them.
You don't move them. You don't touch
open
them.
It.
No.
I mean, you're using your window. If you don't have a window on an oven,
they all do.
One of my old apartments did not.
Bummer.
So we're still living in those ages.
Be careful.
So then if that, you just open a little, then you go.
And when you start cooking, do not open it because it could ruin everything. So,
okay.
And then, so your cinnamon rolls, we rolled those out into a nice little rectangle, and they were probably about 1/4 inch thick. And then,
what did we learn about the rolling pin? Or I had to be taught?
Well, the rolling pin, don't push it. You let it roll, or it will tear the dough.
And when you are rolling, it's one direction.
Yes.
Like you're not going, okay, I'm going up to the left. Now I'm going up to the right. It's okay, straight forward and all.
When you're wanting a nice rectangle, go forward and backwards and then side to side.
Yeah.
Straight. Yep. And then you take a little bit of butter that's melted, pour it on there, and just make sure the whole entire square of dough is covered. And then same thing, just a small layer of brown sugar, and then sprinkle the whole thing with cinnamon sugar. Generously, if you love it. And we didn't have raisins, but you can add raisins or nuts or whatever you want to it if you wanted to.
That's where you would put it in.
Yes.
There before you roll it.
Yep. And then when you start rolling it, make sure it's a nice tight roll, kind of roll and then pull it towards you and then roll it again because you don't want it to be loose. You want those layers nice and tight together. And then you can use a sharp knife to cut it into pieces. And this third loaf made about 12 cinnamon rolls, so it fit perfect into a small cake pan.
Yeah. I really need to get some dental floss though. So then I feel like I'm actual professional.
If you're using dental floss, don't use mint dental floss. Make sure it's no flavor.
No flavor. Got it. Have you tried it with real mint floss?
I tried it. I had it with cinnamon, and you could taste the cinnamon flavor in there. So don't make sure there's no flavor.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Absolutely.
Other things. So I forgot to go over this. I mean, we kind of talked about things you could add to the cinnamon rolls. What about the breads? What flavors can you add to that? And when do you add that in the process?
So if you want to add some flavors to your bread, when you're kneading it, that is when you would add it. And this recipe that I use, she likes to use shredded cheddar cheese with onion bits or chopped up onions and roll it in there. So you've got a nice cheesy loaf. Or you can use all sorts of herbs to throw it in there. You can do cinnamon raisins. So as you're kneading it, you could put that cinnamon flavor in there with raisins and make a cinnamon bread. You can do anything you want. I did one with anise flavoring because I like that anise flavoring, kind of Italian.
What is anise flavoring?
It's almost tastes like black licorice that people hate.
Oh, that would probably be why I don't know what it is.
So I like that in a bread, but you can find all sorts. If you like the garlic bread, you put some garlic in there. You can do all, but that's the time you do it is when you're kneading it. Knead it really good, and you can sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on top that will get all nice and melty and crusty on when it's cooking. So it's really yummy. You can flavor it up all different ways and just be very creative with it.
Oh
yeah, for sure.
So we did that. We made it. I currently have 2 loaves of bread on my counter. Well, okay, 1.5 because we've kind of started to go through it. And I would just like to say during this. Britton did come home from practice and he was going to be the one that I was like, this could be make or break because he is our go-to health nut. And I am happy to say that he said, oh yeah, I'm going to start using this. I'm going to start eating this in the morning. And it just warmed my heart that I can make bread.
And toasted whole wheat bread is amazing with homemade melted butter.
Yes.
McKenna, tell them about your homemade butter.
Also, we made butter. Like, I feel like a pioneer. And also, since we are talking about exercise and the fitness that can come making bread, let's talk about the whole level of fitness of making butter. We did not have anything to churn with. So what we were told, you can use a mason jar.
Yep.
But did not have a mason jar, so we grabbed one of Britton's blender bottles, put 2 of the little metal shakers in there, and we just... I'm pretty sure it turned into cement. It got so much more heavier as we continued to shake it. It was the original shake weight is what I was calling it.
Absolutely.
But it was so insane. Like it started from heavy whipping cream and then it looked like whipping cream pretty much through it. And then it literally separated.
So
from that to liquid.
Well, our arms got very tired. Yes. So we put it in the famous Bosch mixer with the wire whisks and we cranked that sucker on high and that finished it off for us because we were just too tired. We could not shake
we even
no
had
more.
Britton try and he was like, it's not moving.
Too thick, too much going on there. So once we got it in the Bosch mixer, it started to separate. And as it separates, you dump out the liquids. You can save it you can use it for buttermilk. You can use it. There's other things you could use it for, but we just kind of didn't use it.
We were on a mission for butter.
Yep. And then as soon as you've whisked it as much as you can and got the solids together, then you get a spatula and you press all the extra liquids out. You want all the liquid out. Some people will rinse off the liquids. I usually don't because the butter disappears too fast to worry about it. So, and then you want to add a teaspoon of salt. If you want it flavored, you can use it just sweet buttercream if you're baking, but we like the little bit of salt in the butter. So 1 teaspoon of salt makes it amazing.
It was so good. Like I can't believe I'm saying this. Like I took a picture of a normal piece of wheat bread with normal store-bought butter next to a slice of our homemade bread with homemade butter. And it's just like, it's so happy. It's just so happy that I can look at it and be like, we made that.
And how about your strawberry homemade jam?
Okay, well, we haven't made that yet. There is a family.
You have made it with me in the past.
I guess I have made it with you in the past. Now I just need to know that I can make it in my own home.
Yes.
Which that is like a family thing.
Family
that
tradition.
Bread with that strawberry jam. That's the next goal.
Couple generations.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Above all, top benefits that you would say for being able to make your own loaf of bread at home.
Well, first of all, the taste. You're eating such great food. I love the taste of wheat, anything. The health factors are amazing. And just knowing that you know exactly what the ingredients are in what you're making. It doesn't, it's not full of preservatives, colors, artificial flavors to make it taste good. This is just homegrown, natural, delicious food.
Yeah. It really is like, I totally understand. You know, we were talking about this, like the magic of like, we saw all these ingredients just a couple hours ago. I had flour, I had honey, like just these simple things. And now there's this thing and it's good and I want to eat it. And
absolutely.
Oh, I love it. Well,
it's great.
Again, thank you.
Thank
I'm so
you for
glad
having
that
me.
I have
this.
this.
Has been fun.
I am going to cherish this and I'm going to cherish this recipe now. And hopefully I can proudly say I am a bread maker.
You are officially now a new bread maker.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We will see you next time. And if you haven't already, go make some bread because I promise you it is good. All right. We'll see ya.